So I haven't done one of these in a while, but let's talk about what's in my camera bag for 2025. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Desmond, and I am getting ready for another international trip, but this time I'm gonna take some time off and focus on just creating tons of content, lots of filming. So for this trip, I'm going to need to pack my camera bag. Now, if you've seen my channel before, usually when I do travel photography or when I just travel, I don't need a lot of gear. Almost everything I need fits into this camera cube, which goes into the other various bags that I bring. But this time we are going to be really creating lots and lots of content. So I want to bring all of the stuff that I'm going to need. So we'll start with the bag. This is the bag that I go to when I am just focused on carrying as much gear as possible in the most organized, functional, rugged, durable, convenient way possible. This is the Wandered Provoke 21 liter, and inside this bag is their Pro camera cube, and that is where all the organization comes into play. So when I open this bag up, hopefully all you can see is just a lot of different dividers and compartments that I've customized for all the different types of gear, cameras, lenses, peripherals that I'm going to bring with me on this trip. And as I mentioned, the reason why I'm focused on this camera bag is because I'm going to be heading to Italy. There's going to be a lot of filmmaking involved, just a lot of content creation overall, and I don't want to miss any of the gear that I'm going to want to have with me. But inside here is also the Pro camera cube. This fits everything that I need to bring with me. It also has all the organization kind of built right into it. In the back sleeve here, a lot of zipper pockets, all these custom compartments. We have a roll top. I'm not going to go through the entire bag, but basically everything goes in here. Everything has its place. And you can see here a water resistant, waterproof material, weather sealed zippers. Everything is really durable. Everything is very well padded. Once I throw all my gear into here, I can toss this onto my back and basically I can go anywhere, film anything that I need. The other nice thing I like about the Wandered Provoke is the kind of built-in tote pack carry. Handles are great when you're just moving around this much gear. It does get pretty heavy, but overall I really like this bag, the design. It's just really good looking for a camera bag, but even for a camera bag, this thing is so well designed when it comes to organization. So this is the go-to if I do anything real serious when it comes to content creation and I just want to bring all of my gear. Speaking of which, let's get into the gear. First, let's start with the main camera, which is a little bit different than what I would expect me to bring. Normally, I'd probably pack my FX3, but this is the Sony a7CR, and I actually think it is the perfect hybrid camera for this type of scenario. Even though I'll be doing a lot of video, I still want to be able to lean on this 61 megapixel sensor, take great photos. We'll be in the countryside of Tuscany. I want to be able to get vast, beautiful landscape shots, as well as, again, really crispy, beautiful B-roll and A-roll and talking head. So the A7CR is my go-to travel hybrid camera. The thing that I really like about it is, yes, we have great video features, although we've got some crop when it comes to 60 frames per second and slow-mo options, but I mean, I don't care that much, it's fine. What I really like about it is very similar to my A7R5. We have multiple toggle switches here, so I can switch between S and Q mode with 3 custom settings. I can switch to video mode with 3 custom settings, and the same thing for photography mode with 3 custom settings. That gives me 9 different customization options for different profiles that I've personally baked into my camera. And because of this, it actually makes hybrid shooting really easy. I can take a bunch of photos, I can switch it over to S&Q mode, get some nice clean B-roll, I can swap it over to video mode, change to a different custom setting, I can shoot talking head. And that alone makes this really easy and quick to use and actually reduces a lot of the friction of just creating content. And that's why I really like this camera, and that's why I'll be bringing this as my main camera. The other thing to call out, flip out screen, which is great. It's not a better LCD screen than what I had on my A7R5. The EVF is okay, but you know what? Really, it's about the ease of use and how quick and seamless it is for me to capture more content. And when it comes to video quality, I think it's good enough. This is fantastic video quality. I shoot a lot of the content on this channel with this camera, with my FX3, with my ZV-E1 interchangeably. So it's really hard to tell what is shot on what camera, and that's perfectly fine for me. This is for YouTube. This is just for content that I'm creating. I'm not doing professional crazy shoots or making movies. So the video quality on this is absolutely more than enough. Let's talk about the lenses. What you'll see on top is my latest lens. This is the 16-25G 2.8 lens from Sony. I just really like this because I'm trying to do a lot more vlogging, a lot more travel filmmaking, and just documenting the trips and kind of journeys that I take pretty regularly and kind of bring you guys along for more of these trips. It's lightweight. The focal length is perfectly fine for the type of footage that I need to capture when it comes to just documenting trips. 16 is wide enough for vlogging, 25 is tight enough for certain B-roll shots, and again, being able to switch between the two is great, and all the little focal lengths in between. What I really like about it though is form factor. It's light, it's easy to move through an airport, it's easy to get into restaurants, and because you have 16 millimeters on here, I can shoot in tight spaces without having the giant 16-35 G Master that I was thinking about getting. This perfectly suitable. The other nice thing, 67 millimeter thread for filters. Most of my lenses are a 67 millimeter size for filters, so I can interchange this with my G Masters and my other lenses. So let's take a quick break from all of the gear, because it's not just about all the cameras and tech and tools that I keep in my bag. A lot of it is about the tools that I use after the fact, because editing is half the battle. And today's sponsor, Motion Array, has just released a new set of assets that I have been waiting for a really long time. They just dropped their new and improved motion graphics with transparent backgrounds that you can now drag and drop into all of your different videos. I know that doesn't seem like a huge thing for a lot of you out there, but let me tell you, when you are trying to use motion graphics in different types of software, you need Mogart files, you need to install different plugins, you need to drop these files and templates into subfolders inside your editing software. There are steps that exist that you need to take in order to really leverage motion graphics. But with Motion Array's new release of these drag and drop motion graphics, it's really a game changer because it's so fast. They all have transparent backgrounds. They've also collaborated with this legendary animator, Ariel Costa, as well as a bunch of other artists to release different pieces of work that you can easily pull into your content. And because these graphics are designed to be dragged and dropped, they can work with any type of editing software, whether it's Final Cut Pro or Premiere, anything that you're using, you can leverage these different assets here. I find this really useful in just editing videos and pumping out things that are creative and fun super quickly. So if you have been thinking about signing up for Motion Array for a while, this is definitely a solid reason to get on board. I'm gonna leave a discount code, links all in the description below. Definitely check that out. Now let's get back to all the gear. And what you'll see on top here is the DJI Mic Mini. I think this is a great new introduction from DJI. It's cost effective, but the biggest reason is it's tiny. It's really, really nice, and the microphones themselves come in a smaller carrying case than my Mic 2s. And hopefully you can see here, these are very, very small microphones. I mean, that's kind of the theme of this travel setup, is smaller, more compact without sacrificing too much quality. I think we are accomplishing just that with this particular setup. Let's talk about another lens that I bring with me. This is the 24-70 G Master Mark II. This is a hefty beast, and of course, when it's paired with the A7CR, it kind of defeats the purpose of a compact setup. But when we're talking about traveling for a very specific goal of just creating as much content and filming as much as possible, this is the best possible lens that I could bring with me. 24-70, in terms of focal length is great. I can capture fantastic photos, videos, everything that I need. Pair that with the 16 to 25, and I've basically got 16 all the way to 70 covered. In terms of focal lengths, we've got a constant 2.8 aperture, and everything that comes out of this lens is beautiful. Although it's a little bit heavy, I don't mind. We're here to create stuff for this trip. Now let's talk about the compact camera that I bring with me everywhere for these trips. This will also go into the backpack. As I mentioned, we will be exploring the countryside of Tuscany, but I will also head into Florence to check out that historical city. And what will be with me is my Leica Q3. This is a 28mm version. It has a 28mm lens with a 1.7 f-stop. It's a beautiful camera. It is tiny, it is really easy to use, it takes amazing photographs. It does pretty good at video. There are some new features that they added to this over the Q2 variant, but I always carry this with me. I can throw it over my shoulder. I have a Clever Supply Co. leather strap on here, and it's really comfortable. I've always got this when I'm exploring a new city. Some hardware on here. I've got the Polar Pro thumb grip. I've got the soft shutter release button, as well as the new 135 series filter from Polar Pro and Peter McKinnon. I've got the gold mist on here, and currently I'm using the black mist on the FX3, and I've got the polarizer right here. And of course, I always carry different types of filters. Like I mentioned, 67mm is the sweet spot for a lot of the different lenses that I carry. Right here, I've got the short stash kind of daily filter. I've replaced this with the 135 series for now, but I just keep a bunch of filters in the bag because I've got space and lots of organization. Let's keep going through some cameras. Insta360 Ace Pro 2. I recently purchased this as a test just to see how good an action camera could be at filming travel content. This thing is great. I love the flip out screen. Quality is great. You get L-Log on here. It has a Leica lens, so I just color grade with those LUTs, and then I add some creative LUTs, and the footage looks really good. But stabilization, durability, anywhere that I can't bring my other cameras, this thing can go. Like if I decide to hop into the ocean or go on a boat ride or do anything where I don't want my other cameras getting destroyed, the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 is always in the bag without the little tripod on. This thing is tiny, super useful, stabilization is great. AI features are maybe a little bit gimmicky, but all in all, it captures what I needed to capture, and it gives me high enough quality output that I can work with and create some really nice content. But moving on, DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I mean, this is the GOAT of 2024 and probably leading into 2025. This is my favorite camera just because of the built-in stabilization, the image quality, the convenience, how great this thing works. It's a little bit more delicate, obviously, than everything else because you have a motorized gimbal on top and this little flippy screen. But I use this thing for everything, all types of B-roll and content and filming in all different types of locations because it is just so small, it's so capable, it's so inconspicuous, and it's just really, really easy to work with. So every creator that I know probably has one of these. Whenever I'm traveling, I see these everywhere, and it's because it's such a great camera. I keep it in my pocket. So when I'm moving through an airport, if I want to capture B-roll of me getting into my seat or moving through the cabin or whatever it is, I've always got this available. It's super easy, always goes into my camera bag. Also, the little attachment so that I can throw some tripod legs on it and charge it from the back. Honestly, I think this thing works great, just tiny. I've never had to add any attachments, although there are some really good ones out there. As is, this thing has been awesome and has never failed me. But speaking of little tripods, this doesn't have a name. This monstrosity is a tiny little compact tripod I put together using a couple of pieces. We've got some old tripod legs, and I screwed it onto an old PGY Tech Mantis pod head, which I really liked. And I actually use this particular abomination for just quick still shots. So one, I can just clip this directly to my Leica Q3. I can place this down and I can get some nice, clean, stable B-roll. Like I mentioned, stabilization, autofocus on this is like okay, especially compared to a Sony camera. So I like using this tripod. It also has extendable legs, so you can increase the stability of it, and it's great. It's so tiny, it's so useful, and I invented it. No, I just mashed up a couple of pieces from two broken tripods to create what is actually quite ideal for my type of travel. The ball head from the PGY Tech Mantis Pro is awesome. It's stable, it has that kind of quick release attachment that works with my Falcam plates, which is a huge plus. Everything I use is Falcam from Ulanzi. Yeah, this thing is awesome. I love it a lot. I don't know what it's called. It's just a little mini tripod that I made. But speaking of tripods that I did not make, this is from Ulanzi. This is their like vlogging tripod. I like that. That's really easy. Single-handed use. Well, not single-handed closing, but if I've got this out and I'm vlogging and I want to put this down, I can just click that out. And of course, like I mentioned, Falcam compatible, you can just click this into place. I've got my camera ready, I can vlog, I can kick out the legs, put this down, do whatever I want. The ball head is great. We have adjustments just to turn it 360 degrees, or we just go full ball head. We can tilt it vertical. This is a great tripod. It's really light too, because it's mostly plastic, but the mechanism works really easy, very compact. These are my travel tripods. Batteries and organization. This is from Peter Lindgren. This is like the tri-pack or whatever it's called, the tri-charge. This fits 3 Sony NPF batteries, charges them all at once. I've also got SD and micro SD card holders. That's about it. This thing works great. It's tiny, it's compact. Always keep lots of batteries with me. This is a Hobo Light Iris, tiny, compact, super user-friendly travel light. I like this little dome, diffuses the light source really well, comes with an attachment. I can add it to the top of my camera, or if I've got like my travel tripod, little cold shoe mount, I can mount it to the side of my travel tripod when I'm vlogging or filming B-roll and I just need some constant light. This thing is great. It's so small, lots of different attachments too. And I like the aesthetic and the vibe of the Hobo Light. Oh, here's another piece. Audio, on-camera audio. This is the Sony ECM B1M, whatever the smallest, most capable variant is right now. Dial right here, I can adjust between front, omni, forward directional, super directional. I think that's great. Volume adjustment, auto, main, filter, low cut filters, noise canceling, and then different tiny settings. It works with my Sony cameras via the digital hot shoe. That is convenient and it's tiny. I really like that without the little dead cat or the wind muff. Looks pretty cool. This thing is great. Gives me just enough high quality audio to make any video that I need. Something else in the bag here is a strap. This is from Clever Supply Co. It's their thicker strap for the larger camera that I carry. I also have the Peak Design kind of anchor built into it, but what I use, hopefully you can see here, is a Falcam plate, because as I mentioned, all my cameras have a Falcam plate on there. I can click the camera right into place. I can throw this over my shoulder or around my neck, and when I need to just detach the camera, I can slide it off, get my shot, and click it back into place, which is really, really convenient. I also like having the shorter neck strap because if you are someone like me who shoots handheld a lot, having the strap as a stabilizer when I do nice, slow, hopefully smooth B-roll is great. So different panning, tilting, whatever I want to do, it just gives me a anchor point to ensure that the footage is not jittery and as smooth as possible. Some random things that I keep in that bag. Maybe you've seen my other videos before for random travel gear that you can get on Amazon. I keep a portable fan. It can be from any brand. This one's not sponsored, so I have something here from Nightcore. I have something from Jisoo Life, but really it's a high-powered portable fan. It's great for cleaning dust off all of my gear, So I keep something like this around all the time. This one from Nightcore is pretty powerful and pretty small. And then I've got the one from Jisoo Life that's got a little LCD screen built into it. It's got a little knob for power control. Either way, I've always got at least one of these things with me. It's just really, really useful for cleaning all of the various different pieces of camera gear. Look at all the little tiny little nooks and crannies and stuff in all this gear. A fan is going to do the job better than a little blower bulb. And again, of course, all of that fits into this bag perfectly. Other things that I'll call out, you don't really need to see them. I'll bring a laptop, and of course I'm going to bring a SSD hard drive. I actually built this. I just bought an enclosure and bought a really high quality NVMe solid state drive that I installed. I use the included cable for this enclosure, so I get up to 40 gigabytes of read and write speeds, I don't know, give or take. This is really quick to edit off of, but also it's an additional 4 terabytes of storage that I can use to offload footage and photos when I'm shooting, especially if I don't bring enough SD cards. All right, so I think that was a lot of gear, but as I mentioned, we're gonna be trying to create as much content, videos, photos as possible. So I wanted to just pack up this camera bag with all my essential gear for any particular situation, scenario, or need. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more videos just like this. I will catch you all in the next one.